Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Paper Crafts, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. Welcome to today's project, and I've gone back to the annual catalogue again for this one. It's a little 2x2x2 box, and I've made it using thick Whisper White cardstock, and I've layered it with Magenta Madness, my favourite, and I've not used it for ages, and the Flowers for Every Season designer series paper, and that's a 6x6 pack. And although it's not particularly Christmassy, I've used the Warm Hug stamp set for my little sentiment on the front, and obviously finished it off with the Magenta Madness ribbon. I don't have any sparkles on this box this time. I just want to let the paper do the talking. So I'm going to show you how I made it, and I'm going to change up the colourway just ever so slightly. So for the box you will need a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock which measures 8.5 inches by 6.5 inches, or cut to 21 by 16 centimetres. You'll need 5 pieces of coordinating colour cardstock which measure 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, or 4.75 by 4.75 centimetres, and you'll need 5 pieces of designer series paper which measure 1.5 inches by 1.5, or 4.5 by 4.5 centimetres, and then they're going to just layer up like that. I've actually done all the other bits ahead of time, actually, just to save a little bit of time on the video. So to give it time to dry, what I'm going to do before we do any scoring, I'm just going to pop this last piece of paper onto the cardstock, and then that lets it dry by the time we're ready to stick it onto the box. So just pop that on there and just make sure that I get an even border all the way around, which I think looks okay at that. So just give it a little press. There we go, and then just put that to the side with the rest, and that'll dry nicely. And I think I said already, a piece of Whisper White cardstock, just normal Whisper White. It doesn't need to be the thick Whisper White for the sentiment on the front. So I'll pop that over to the side as well, and I'll get my scoreboard. And I do apologise for the lighting and any shadows, but I am filming in the evening. It's dark quite early now here in Scotland, this being mid-November, so I do apologise for the lighting. There's not a lot I can do about it. So in inches we're going to score on the long side at 2, 4, 6 and 8. And in centimetres that's 5, 10, 15 and 20. Turn it round to the short side and we're going to score at 2, 4 and 6. And in centimetres that's 5, 10 and 15. And that's all the scoring done. So get that scoreboard out of the way, and then we're going to fold and burnish on all our score lines. So we'll just do that quickly. Oops. So yes, I thought I would go back to the annual catalogue and go back to the Flowers for Every Season, which I just really like. Did I already say that it's a 6x6 paper pack? I'm not sure if I did or not, but it is. And in the annual catalogue you will find it on page, let me just have a look, here we are, page 148. That's it all there, so that lets you see all the different patterns on the paper, if you can see that without any shadows or any glare. It's really pretty, and if you've watched my other videos before you'll know that Magenta Madness is my favourite in colour. It's one of our 5 in colours for 2020 to 2022. That's not easy to say. Right, so some cutting now. So I'm looking at what will be the inside of my box, and we want to keep these middle sections here, which will be the bits that go around the box here. We're going to keep just one part of these top sections for the lid, and we're going to cut up and separate all these parts here because they're going to form the bottom of the box. But as always, we only want this little bit in the middle here for joining the box together, so we're just going to get rid of this narrow rectangle here and cut at an angle there, and then we're going to remove the top part as well, and we'll try and do this as neatly as possible, taking away the score line but trying to stay as close to it as possible, because this section is actually the section that we're going to keep to make the lid for closing the box. So we only want this little tab here. So for the rest of the top part of the box, when we bring this round, that's the seam that's going to be at the back of our box. So this section here is the one that we want to keep, and we're going to remove all the rest of these. So I'm just going to turn it round, and again I'm going to cut down as close to the score line as I can, but making sure that I'm not keeping any of that on the lid part, like so. Just make sure I cut down to just beyond that score line, and then we're just going to remove this whole section here. So I'm just going to get my big scissors, which are a bit more successful in terms of me A, cutting with big scissors, and B, cutting in a straight line, because I'm not the world's straightest cutter. Is that even a word, the straightest cutter? I don't know if that's a good grammatical phrase or not, but that's what I mean. So keep that section because you can always use that for stamping sentiments later. So this is what we're left with at the moment. So all we need to do now is cut up all these score lines at the bottom, and I'm just going to carefully cut up either side of the score lines just so that I don't have any overhang on the bottom of my box, so that I've got straight edges either side and they're not going to stick out on the bottom once I've put the box together. I probably could have cut that a little bit straighter, but never mind. So just up this part here as well, and see if I can just pull that bit off. There we are. And last one, just cut up either side like so. There we are, and get rid of those little bits. So this is what we're left with for our actual box. So I'm going to turn it over, and now what I want to do, in fact before I do that, I'm going to stick my panels on, but first of all I want to bring in my detailed trail punch and just round the corners on that part of the closure on the lid. There we go. So now I'm ready to put my panels along here and one on the lid. So let's add some glue onto here and stick these on. And again, if you've got a directional pattern, make sure that you do stick it on the right way round, or some bits of your box are going to look like they're upside down. So when you're putting these panels on, you want the top of the pattern to be here and the bottom to be near the bottom panels, so that the pattern is the right way round. And then we will need to turn it round to make sure that it's facing the right way on the lid if it's a directional pattern. So again, just pop these on with an even border round the sides. Come on, glue. I think I'll stick that one on this way. Sometimes it's easier just to pick a non-directional pattern when you stick these on, and it makes it much easier. And then last one for the body of the box. Pop that on like so. Some of these flowers do seem to have a right way up and a wrong way up, so oops, there we are. And then because the lid is going to be facing me this way, because this will tuck into where the front of the box is, I want to just make sure that my flowers are going to be facing the right way up before I stick it on. There we are, so I quite like it that way around. So again, I'm just making sure that I've got a nice gap, and I knew I would splooge out at some point. There we are. So all I need to do now is add a piece of tape to the side panel for joining the box together. So I'll just get my tearing tape and add a piece near the fold but not on it, as always. Don't put it too close to the fold or you'll find that it does stick out beyond the edge, which then doesn't make for a very neat corner on the box. Just take that backing off, fold in that little extra bit there and fold that over and join it together. So if you want to make a few of these for a party or for Christmas or anything like that, or even table favours for a party or a wedding, you can make them ahead of time and just leave them like that and pack them all flat in a box, and then just do the last bit when you're ready to make them up. So this is a front panel here, which is going to go down last. This obviously is the back panel, so we want to put our two side panels in first, and as I go I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to hold them all together, and I just want to make sure I've got glue at the outside edges there so that there's no gaping. So this is the back panel here, so a bit of glue near those outside edges and a little bit in the middle. Pop that over like that, and then the last panel to go down is the one that's going to be the front one. So again, just making sure that I've got glue on all those outside edges to stop it gaping and make sure it stays stuck down. And just pop that over like that, and by removing all those score lines, then I'm just making sure that there's no overlap or overhang at the bottom. And I'm just taking my paper folder and going down all those edges just to make sure that they're all well stuck down. And I've got a nice neat finish inside my box as well. So bring the lid over the top and it closes nicely. It is a little bit loose, it probably could have been a little bit tighter, but we're not going to worry too much. Now I am going to use my 1-inch punch, which is retired, but any punch would do just for punching that finger notch. Now be very careful, because it's going through 2 thicknesses of cardstock and 1 thickness of designer series paper, but with layers of glue in between. So keep your fingers well out of the way when you give it a good squeeze. There we are, and that just gives us a little finger notch, which makes it easier to open the box when we've closed it. So a little bit of decoration now, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And I'm going to get my little piece of Whisper White cardstock and my Misty Moonlight ink, and my 2 stamps already mounted from my Warm Hugs photopolymer stamp set. So I'm using the For You, and I'm putting the little love heart in the centre, and I'm just making it all self-coloured. I'm not going to mix the colours, I'm just going to do it all in Misty Moonlight. So hopefully I will make sure I'll get this straight. So I'll stamp my little love heart about there, perfect, and ink up my For You, and hopefully not get my head underneath the camera, but I am just trying to make sure that I've lined that up so that it fits neatly round my little love heart. There we are, I'm happy with that. So pop that stamp out of the way and put my ink away before I lean in it. And then I used my 1.5 inch circle punch just to cut that out. Oh my goodness, guinea pig being a bit greedy with his water and having a little choke. We always get the sound effects from the guinea pigs in the videos. That looks about right. There we are. And I'm just going to add some dimensionals onto the back of here. 1, 2, 3, oops, that's 4. I don't need 4, I just need 3. So 1 at the top and 1 either side like so. Back ends are sticking to me. There we go. And then I just popped that on the front of the box, trying to keep it central and straight, and I'm quite happy with that there. There we are. And then here's my Misty Moonlight ribbon. This is another one of our in colours. So this is I don't know what it is. It's cotton. It's sort of cotton, woven cotton, but it doesn't actually tell you what kind of ribbon it is. Often it does. So I'll just chop that off about there. Sit my box on top and then hope for the best when it comes to tying my knot, and hopefully it will tie nice and tightly as well, but I won't push the lid in because which I just have, but I'll sort that once I've tied my knot. So I'm just trying to make sure that, oh, I really have pushed it in now, that I don't let that knot move. Here we are. And if I just get my, there we go, that's not bad at all. I will take that. I'm not going to faff about with it. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm quite happy with it. And that's my box made. No frills, no sparkly bits. I just want the designer series paper to do the talking and the sentiment on the front. So that's my little box for today. You could fit quite a lot of sweeties or treats in there, anything you like really. So thanks for watching. All the links to everything I've used today will be in the description bar below, and if you don't already have a demonstrator and you do want to buy any of the products that you see today, then there will be a link to my shop down below as well. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.